Hi, and welcome to Edwards Motorhomes. Today, myself and Tony are going to take you on a handover experience on this 2016 plated roller team T-Line 590. Really hope you find it informative. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to start on the outside of the vehicle and we're going to work our way in. Now the first thing to show you is the key. Now this particular vehicle has cab central locking. Habitation door, you do still have to unlock with a key, which is your habitation key just here. Cab doors, press the button, got the ignition key just there. And if you see at the top, you've got your unlock button and below your lock button. Next, we come to your storage on the rear of the vehicle. So when we open this up, you can see we've got your ladder just in here. This piece just here is for your bed makeup, for your second bed. We'll go through that later on. And you've also got, just in here, you've got these shelves that lock onto the wall. Now these can be dropped down. You have access to that from the bathroom, and it means, again, if you don't need all the height for your storage, you can put extra shelving in. But we'll come to that when we do your bathroom. Then we have your fridge vents here and here. Gas locker just here. As we come round, next we have your fuel filler, which is just here. And again, that just works off your ignition key. It's a locking cap, so just pop that in, open it up, and away you go. Then of course we have your flue for your heating, just here. Fresh water fill, just there. And again, that is literally just pop the hose in and fill it up. Electric point just here for your hookup cable. You do have the black catch just there that you need to press down to release. Now, when we come around the back, of course, we do have your reversing camera just up there. But what I really want to show you is just underneath the van just here. Because here we have your wastewater drain. So you just pull that away and your wastewater will drain down from here. Now we have your cassette toilet. Now the first thing to explain about your cassette toilet is inside the van, on the toilet itself, there's a grey handle underneath which will open and close the blade on the toilet. To be able to release your cassette, you must have the blade closed. For obvious reasons, if somebody was in there using it and you're trying to get this out, it's going to end very badly, so you must make sure that's closed. When you do, unlock and pull this out. Now you'll see that you've got this little yellow handle here, so you lift that up and then you pull your cassette out. Now, every campsite should have what they call an Alson point, and an Alson point is where you dispose of your waste. So you turn this round, you take off the cap, then you press the yellow button on the back. You flush away. Hose it through, flush away again, then you pop your new green or blue chemical directly into the cassette. Don't put it down the toilet, it's very strong and it will stain. Once you've done that, a little bit of water in there, and then you pop it back in. Now, the water comes directly from the fresh water tank, so not like with caravans or some motorhomes where you have to add the pink chemical into the header tank. None of that. You only need the green or the blue, which you put directly into the cassette. The other thing to bear in mind is toilet paper. What you don't want to use is this triple quilted stuff. It's nice as it is, chemical struggles to break it down. So what you want to use is either camping toilet paper or cheaper toilet paper. So here we have your cab. So when we're looking around your cab, first thing of course is on the driver's door just here, we have your two electric windows for the cab. And here we have your electric wing mirror adjust. Now you'll notice you've got two notches on either side, and that's because you've obviously got two mirrors on either side. So you pick whichever mirror that you want, and then by the joystick you move in each direction to get it into the perfect position. Then of course here we have your wash wipes. On your steering wheel we have your telephone controls and we have your radio controls, and just here we have your headlights. Underneath we have your cruise control. Here we have your tablet or your phone holder. Now you just pop this catch out here. You can put your tablet or your phone just in there. You can then Bluetooth that through to your media center, or again just underneath here you do have an auxiliary point and a USB point just there as well. Like I say, you've got your chargers for your USB and your 12 volt just there. When you've finished with this, pop these back in, make sure you click the handle back in properly, push it down. Media center with your CD just there. You do also have navigation on there. Now when we're looking at these controls, of course, first of all we just have here is your cab air conditioning, and then we have your heating controls. That one there is Traction Plus. Now Traction Plus is actually very useful because it basically works in the respect of it's, if you're on a campsite and it's very wet, you're trying to move off and your wheels are spinning. Pop that on and it'll work up to around about 15 or 16 miles an hour, and it works a little bit like a diff lock. Hopefully it'll give you enough traction to get you going and it's not being a case of the farmer having to pull you out. That one there is hill descent. Really wouldn't worry too much on a vehicle of 3.5 tons with a manual, because again you can just hold it in the lower gears yourself. And then of course that one will lock your cab doors, and that one is for your heated mirrors. Hazard warning is just there. 2 large cup holders just down here. Now also both captain seats are fully adjustable, so we're going to look at the passenger seat just here. So if we want to spin it, you pull that catch back and then you sort of swivel your bum round to spin it. When it comes round, you have these 2 catches here and here. Now this works like on a rocker system, so if we do the front, it will lift or lower the front of the seat, and that one will lift or lower the back. We also of course have the wheel just here for the backrest, and we do have the wheels for the armrests. Now when you spin it back round, you're waiting for the clunk, then you know it's locked back into place. Something I haven't shown you on the cab so far of course is on the passenger side just here. If you open that door, if you need to get into the bonnet, there's a release catch just there. And then that brings me on to your Remis cab blinds. So with your cab blinds, what you want to do is pinch and slide out. Now the temptation is to do that. What you've got to do is keep this straight. Bring across and it locks on with a magnet just there. Same with your windscreen. You pinch and you pull. Now if you have a reversing camera, they can sometimes be a little bit fiddly, because what you're looking for is for that to catch in the centre. Now you can see there's a bit of a gap there. Now it's good that that's actually happened, because what I want to say to you is sometimes you might not get these completely together, and if it's dark of an evening you haven't noticed, you can be walking around and that can happen. What you always want to do, in my experience, is again, if you've got a hair bubble or if you've got an elastic band, pop that round there, just seals together and it can stop any embarrassing incidents. So you have 2 beds on the T-Line 590. We have the electric bed, which we'll go into in a moment, and then you have the bottom bed that makes up out of your dinette. Now to make that bed up, the first thing we need to do is come into your garage area, and we need this board just here. So we're going to take this and we're going to pop inside the van. Now the first thing, this table is fully adjustable and you can move it wherever you want. When you look underneath, there is a grey handle just here. When you've got the table into the right position, if I just move round, you would then turn that and that will lock it in place, so it's not going to keep moving. It's not the one that we want to worry about now, that's just when you're dining. The handle we're concerned with is this one here. This one will allow you to lower the table. So first things we need to do is get this into position. Now it's probably slightly easier if we just lift this cushion up to start off with, because it gives us a bit more space. So what we want to do is now push this into basically this gap in between, and then we pull this handle towards us, and you want to push down, but you want to push down directly over the hydraulics just there. So pull the handle and we push. Now when we push down, you want to push it right the way down until it locks into that position. Once we've done that, we can now start to use the cushions to make up your bed. Now the first thing to explain is it is more an occasional bed. The T-Line 590 is really a very comfortable 2-berth van with 4-berth capabilities, but it does give you the option to put up other people overnight. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this cushion from here and we're going to spin it round. I'm going to slot that just in there. This one then sits here, and then we're going to take the backrest and we're going to pop that over there for a second, because what we need to do, we need to get just underneath here. This is where we bring back this board. Now you'll notice you've got 2 little grommets there, and if we lift up this piece of the bed just here, you'll notice we've got access to the grommets just there. So what we're going to do, pop this one back in for a second, and we're going to slide this into place. There we go, that's locked in. We'll put this one back down, and then this one literally just slots in to here. Now with most of these makeup beds, they're not the flattest things in the world, but you can add another 2 people overnight. While we've got the cushions off this bench, we're going to have a look underneath, because underneath this panel just here you have your leisure battery, and also over on this side we have your fuse board. Of course, we also have a 230-volt socket just here. And if we pop that back on, we also have some storage here, and also just by your habitation door, just there. Your electric bed is fully adjustable. Now the first thing, of course, is you do have to make sure that you've got your 12-volt power on. Then we have this key just here, and you can see you've got your up and down buttons. So you turn the key to turn the bed on, and then you literally press the button, and this will bring the bed down. Now I'm going to take the bed to here, and I'm going to stop for a reason. This bed will come right the way down to around about here, but it means you must remove your cushions and drop your table down. Otherwise you're going to end up damaging all your backrest, and you're going to damage your table as well as probably damaging your bed. So you must make sure, if you want to bring it right the way down, that you do that. Now of course, as we already saw when we were outside, you do have a ladder to be able to access this if you want to get it up higher. It does mean again that you can have like a double bunk bed arrangement, but if you are on your own and you have accessibility difficulties, again, you can bring this right down. It really is quite easy. Now if you do have it up higher, of course, you also have these nets underneath the bed which will attach to the roof lining. The whole idea being, of course, is if you roll over in the middle of the night, you're not rolling out and hurting yourself. Now a lot of people do ask the questions, can I leave my quilt on here? Can I leave my pillows on here? Quilts, as long as it's not that thick, yes. As long as it's a normal quilt, you'll have no problem at all. You don't want to leave your pillows on, because what will happen is the bed will think there's somebody still in there if it gets that pressure, and it will blow a fuse. If on the odd occasion that does happen, I'm going to pop the bed back up. You do have a manual override to be able to drop the bed down or raise it up if you so need. Now you'll see just here you have this hole. Now as part of your kit with these, you get like a long Allen key with a wheel on the end, and what you would do is you would slot that into there and you'll wind, and that will then take the bed up or down. Don't get me wrong, it's not the quickest thing in the world to do, and you have got to book yourself probably a fortnight after to get it up or down, but it does give you the option. When using your TV while you're camping, there are a few things that you have to remember. Now the first thing, of course, is your TV aerial, which is a digital aerial on this particular vehicle. Press the button and release just here. Now in here you'll see you've got your status TV aerial, and you've also got your traffic light signals just there. Now the rule of thumb really is, when you're on site, look where everybody else's aerials are pointing, and if you get in the same direction, you should be pretty much good to go. But what you would do is you will unscrew here and you push this up, tighten up when you've got it into the right position. Using this handle just here, you can change the pitch of your aerial on the roof, and like I say, especially if there's two of you, get one of you to sort of get you in the right sort of area, and you'll notice these lights will change. So again, in the showroom here we get notoriously bad signal, hence the reason why it's on red, but that will then change to orange and hopefully green if you've got a good enough signal. Once you've done that, you've then set your system ready to start looking at your TV. So your TV, now the first thing is, obviously at the moment you can see it's on this big extension just here, which means we can move the television up or down. Again, at the moment it's up high, so it'll be great for when you're in bed, but you can bring that down, and you can also swivel it so it'll be into the right position. Next is we've got the red light on here, which tells us that it's on standby. Now that's fine if you're plugged into the mains, but if you're wild camping, the last thing you want is that on standby, because it's going to be draining down on your leisure battery. Now underneath here, just there, we do have a switch to be able to turn that off completely if we wanted to do so. But of course at the moment we want to set up. Now I'm not expecting us to actually pick anything up in here, because like I say, we get notoriously bad signal. But if we were trying to now set up the TV, what we'll first do is press the red button just here on the controller. Now hopefully that's in the right position. There you go, and then that will turn blue. Now with it being a digital system, it means that you do need to retune in when you're moving into a new area as it picks up the new antenna. So the first thing we're going to do is press this button here marked setup. We now want to come down to this satellite system just here. So we're just pressing the button down and then press OK. We now come across and we want to go to auto search. Press the button for OK. It will ask you the country. Press OK. Now that's going to auto search through for you. Literally when it comes up, it will just ask you another probably one question, which you press OK on. It'll be asking you where the region is, and then that will store it in. Now like I say, hopefully if you're on green on there, when you've tuned this in, you'll pick up your signal and you've got all your TV channels. In the kitchen, we have 3 gas hobs just here. Now, obviously, you do need to turn on your gas supply from outside, turn on the taps, your gas will come through, but they do have to be manually lit. Another thing that's very, very important here, of course, is you must wait for these to cool down before you drop the lid back down. Of course, we have sink with your tap just there. Now, your tap will work off the water pump, which we'll go through in more detail when we look at your 12-volt control panel. Here we have your oven and your grill. What is very important is when you're using the grill, pull this out, it just stops the heat from coming up and melting your doughs just there. Underneath here, we have your gas isolator switches, which does allow you to isolate each piece of equipment individually, which again is great because if you did have, for argument's sake, a gas leak on your fridge freezer, if you plugged into the mains, you could still run it on your electric and you wouldn't have gas going in there. Then of course we have your storage just in here. This key just opens up, you pull out, and it is soft close going back. Then we come to your 3-way fridge freezer. So it does exactly what it says. Press this button just here and it gives you your options. Press that button and then by pressing it again you can go through. So you can go from automatic, electric, battery and gas. So gas, very self-explanatory. It'll only work if you've got your gas supply on. Electric if you're plugged into the mains. Battery is a little different. Battery will only work if the vehicle engine is running. Now most people will leave that on automatic because it should then pick out the best one for you. Again, if we're actually doing your temperature, just press on that one there and it will take your temperature up or down as required. One thing I didn't actually show you in the lounge when we were looking before are these 3 lights, and these are just touch. Your fresh water tank is situated underneath this bench just here. So to get to it, first of all, we need to take off these covers. Easier to take this one off from here. Move that out of the way. Pull this one out. Small one just here. Now, while we're under here, I will show you this board. This one does need to be removed to obviously give you feet access when you've got 2 passengers. So we're going to move this out the way. And then take this backboard off. Now it's not a job you have to do that often, but underneath here you'll see you've got your fresh water tank. Now if I open this up, when you look inside there you can see you have a bung just there. Now just have a quick check through. If you want to release the water from there, you just literally lift that out and that will then drain down your system. Now this is very important, especially come the winter time when you don't want to be leaving any fresh water in your tank. Your boiler is situated underneath the long bench seat that runs behind the passenger seat. Now it's not the easiest thing to get to the boiler drain, but where you can see you've got the blue switch on top. Now if you wanted to open up your boiler, you need to turn that a 1/4 turn. What happens is there's a little blue button on the side that will then pop out. Now this will drain any water down from inside your boiler. When you actually then want to do that in reverse and you want to seal your boiler, what you then need to do is turn that tap a 1/4 turn and push the little blue button in on the side. It's very difficult to get to down there and you can't really see it, so it is a hand touch experience, unfortunately. Here we have your 12-volt control panel. Now while we're doing this, we're also going to talk about the priming of your water system and your drain down of your water system. But first of all, we start with 12 volt. So this button here turns on your power. This one is for your lights, and then your lights do have their own individual switches. That one is for your awning light. That one will show us the interior temperature. That one, on S1, that's basically saying we've got 0 water in the fresh water tank, and that will go up 33, 66, 99%. If we press that button again, it will show us R1, which is water in your wastewater tank. This one will then show us your leisure battery, and this one your vehicle battery. Needs adjusting there, that isn't exactly flat. Now the one button I haven't changed so far is this one, and this one up here is your water pump. Now if I press that button, you'll hear like a buzzing noise. Now what that's doing is that's now filling up your boiler with water. I'm going to knock it off because we haven't really got any water in the system, but what you would be wanting that to do is to fill up your boiler, because you can't obviously heat your water until your boiler's been filled up. Now we're going to talk about filling your tanks. So to start off with, when we were outside the van, I obviously showed you the point where you can fill up the tank with water. To do that, first of all, of course, you must make sure that the bung is sealed in your fresh water tank. Once you've filled up the tank with water, then what you want to do is you want to open up all your taps and make sure your boiler is sealed, which we've just looked at. Once you've done that, you can then pop on your water pump. Now, it's going to cough and splutter at you for a minute as the air's being expelled through the system. Then the water will start flushing through. That's great. You can then knock off your water pump. You can knock off your taps. When it comes to drain down, you're working pretty much in reverse. So again, you would open up your bung in your fresh water tank, open up your wastewater tank, go into your boiler and turn that blue tap and just knock it a quarter of a turn. That will then drain it down. Now, I would usually say don't obviously have your water pump on if you've got no water in your system, but just for a few seconds open up your taps and let it get that last bit of water out the pipes and expel all the water from there. It just means if you do have a nasty frost, if there's any water left in the pipes, of course it can crack them. Make sure you get it all out. Here we have your heating system. Now, to start off with, underneath here you see you've got this black switch here. That is just your thermostat. So we press on and we've got 4 icons at the top. Now what we want to do is you want to go to the 3rd icon first and press on there and pick our heat source. So you have gas, mix 1, mix 2, electric 1 and electric 2. I'm going to put that on electric 2 for a second. Now gas is obvious, it's gas. Mix 1 is gas and 1 electric element. Mix 2 is gas and 2 electric elements. And of course you've got electric 1 and electric 2, which is 1 electric element or 2 electric elements. Now, depending on the site and the power output will depend on which one you can actually use. Once we've picked our source, the next thing we want to do is come back to the 1st icon. And on here we pick our temperature. So let's say we want 20 degrees. You just scroll around and you pop that on 20 degrees. That's now set. So what we now want to do is go to our vents. Press on the 4th icon and you can have eco or high, and that's literally how much air it will pump through your vents. Then of course we can set our water, as long as you've got water in your system and you've filled up your boiler. Press on this one and you have a choice of eco, which is 40 degrees, or hot, which is 60 degrees. You then have a choice of boost. That's really there if somebody's just had a shower and you want to have a shower again quite soon afterwards. What we're going to do now is we're going to turn the temperature off. Scroll around to off and we're going to go back to our vents. Press on there. Now we have a choice of off or vent. If we press on vent, that will go up to number 10, and that's literally just circulating the air around the vehicle without having to have your heating on. Then we come round here. This is your timer, so again you can set your heating to come on at 6 in the morning if you want it for that time, and it'll kick straight in for you. Next one, we have your clock. Press on there, so you just scroll round to the time, press the button when you get to the time. And then we have your settings. So with your settings you can offset the screen, temperature from degrees to Fahrenheit, brightness of your control panel, 12 or 24 hour clock, language, index, which I'll come back to in a second, reset. Again, sometimes if you get a glitch in your system you can reset your system. Right, so with index, sometimes if you've done something wrong or if there's a problem in your system, you'll get a warning triangle come up here. If you press on that, it will give you a code, and those codes will be stored in your index. The idea being is you can go onto Truma's website and you can pick up those codes, or again you could phone into the mechanics and they could tell you probably what was wrong with with your van before you actually brought it in. But it's really more a case of sometimes you'll do things that you shouldn't have done. For example, you might have put it on electric and you might not be plugged into the mains, or you've got it on for gas and you haven't got your gas on. So you can go on there, you can check the codes, and again it should tell you what you've done wrong. The one thing you do have to remember is if you've got an issue with your system, it will take up to 15 minutes before it will allow you to reset. In the washroom, we have a separate shower on this side. So again, when you're using the shower, you do need to make sure your water pump's working. Now you'll see just up here, we have another one of these touch sensitive lights just there. And of course we have the wash basin here, and we have storage up here, and of course down here. Flush for your cassette toilet is just there, and that light will come on if your tank's full. Now, the toilet seat is all fully adjustable, and you'll remember when we were talking outside, we were talking about this grey handle, and that grey handle is the one that will open or close your blade on your toilet. When we look in here, of course, on this side we have your wardrobe, and on here again we have access to your garage area. And as I was saying before, these shelves can be lowered or locked up out of place depending on how much space you need in your storage. Something that is very important on any motorhome or caravan: blinds, fly screens, skylights and windows. Now, I really can't stress this enough, but when you are travelling, bar for your 2 cab windows on this particular vehicle, every other window and skylight must be closed. They are double glazed, but they're plastic, and if they catch the wind, they will be gone. Now, to take them up or down, easy enough. You've literally just got a winder on this particular one, just there, and of course you've got your fly screen just there, a blind on this side. If we look at this window over here, now you do have your buttons on there, so you must remember to press the button in. That one's already open, and that one we just need to pull down there, and then you just pop them open like this. Again, with the struts, you just pull it back. Again, make sure they're locked into position. And then again, you've got your blinds, you've got your fly screens. While we're on fly screens, of course, the habitation door also has a fly screen just here. Thank you very much for watching our video. Really hope you found it informative. We do have quite an extensive back catalogue on reviews and handovers on other vehicles on our YouTube channel. If you'd like to subscribe, the button's just there. Just give that little red button there a press, and it will give you access to everything else that we've done. Also, if you did like the video, a like would be much appreciated. Thank you very much.